Misty Paxton. I live in the Salt Lake Valley in Salt Lake City, Utah. And right now I am on a sabbatical enjoying life with my family, but my role is really in human resources.
Amazing HR buddies.
Yep, exactly.
I
Yeah.
love it. So tell me, where were you in your search before you happened upon Career Amps? What was kind of happening that led you wanting to get some help?
Yeah, I think it's a little unique in the fact that I was with a company for 24 years and had made a move from that company and kind of found myself, I think, a little lost. And my boss at the time was very gracious and was actually the one that said, "Hey, I have a program that I think that you would be interested in. So I want you to kind of research it and have that first initial phone call." And so I did. And so I was really at a point in my life where I was trying to take over 2 decades of work and figure out who is Misty Paxton without this job. Like, I think I really started to identify myself with what I did for work. And so really trying to find, like, this was a great time to be able to find the right fit to do and explore who I am. And so the questions that were asked, I was like, oh my gosh, this, although taxing and hard, the questions were exactly what I needed. So it was kind of like, just, I feel maybe unique, where it was just, I was kind of at a crossroads, and she had offered this up to me. And so the moment that I had that first introductory call just about the program, I was so, like, just so intrigued by it. So, and I told her, went back to her and I said, yes, let's do this. So
Love.
that's where I was. So yeah.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. And I appreciate it. And you talked a lot about the onboarding process and kind of getting to know us, but I'm curious, as you came into the program, maybe what were some of the things that were kind of like, oh, wow, I didn't really expect that I was going to learn this, or I was going to walk away with this. What were some of those aha moments right away?
Yeah, I mean, the first one right away was like, just even the questions in the first couple milestones, they were really hard because I was trying to separate, like, what do I really love? What am I really interested in? So even that for me, that was an aha moment, to where I'm like, I think I am more identified as director of HR than I am as an individual. And so I had a big aha moment there. And so going through that was amazing. And then having the opportunity to work with coaches and have the community and the support, I didn't think I was going to get that. My previous job was so focused on customer service. And I will tell you, AJ, like, the customer service you provide is like top notch. It is like so amazing that was an aha for me too. Cause I was like, oh, should I reach out? I don't know if I should or if I shouldn't. And there was one point in the coaching session where I was like, I feel like I've had to pause a little bit on being able to be enrolled in this program. And my coach at the time, she was just like, maybe just even ask if you can do like a pause and do like a retro pause to really kind of get the most out of this program. And so I reached out, quick response, and a very personalized response. It wasn't like this like candid response that I got, but someone that actually really understood what I was going through and took that to heart and tried to figure out how to really help me. So I think between those two things, like, those were huge ahas. Of course, like, I'm glad that I'm at a point where I got an offer to do some fractional HR, which is really cool. But I am so passionate about the employee experience, like, and the customer experience, that this has just been awesome. So
That's amazing, Misty.
yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. And shout out to the client success team if you're watching this. Misty's
Yes.
sending some big love your way. That's awesome. Cool. Awesome. Well, if we go kind of looking ahead, obviously you got a win, which is your offer, which we're so excited for you about. And if you could share, what was your biggest win that you experienced when you were inside a grant? Was it the offer? Was it something along the way, or both? What would you say?
Yeah, I would say right now, because I'm still navigating through some of, like, the side door stuff, and kind of, I think the very first aha deep dive was probably one of the biggest wins for me. The questions that were asked, where it's like some questions about your childhood that I didn't even think that would help me figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up.
Yeah.
And so I know that I've already kind of shared that, but I do really feel like the first foundational part of the program, if you really take a step back and answer those questions, they are going to set you up for a lot more success with the program and just as a professional. And so that was just a big win. And so taking that time to reflect, like, that was really invaluable. And I had to be very vulnerable with myself and figure out, like, like, what do I really love? What am I interested in? And so that was probably one of the biggest wins for me. So I was a little more prepared to really have good conversations and
Mm.
really be able to speak up for myself. So going through the program and going through, like, the source stories with my coach, like, I recognized quickly, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about, we did this and we did that. And so the reflection to be able to say, okay, I did this, I can provide this to your company. I've done, all of these great things. And instead of just telling stories, I was really able to dive in and talk more about what I can bring to that organization. And so I feel like that the program actually helped me be prepared for that.
So awesome. I'm so thrilled for you. That's amazing. Last question here, which is, if someone's watching this and they're on the fence on whether or not they want to join Career Amp, what would you tell them?
100% yes. Yes. I had lunch yesterday with my previous boss, and the one that had suggested that I work with this program. And she's like, what do you think? How is it going? Should we do this for some of our other employees? And I said, yes, like this. I would say 100% yes. And so I think that, and what I had told her, I was like, the program is so well designed. The customer service is 1-800 level, like a 1-800 contacts level that I love. The journey you go on and the community that you have, that really truly helps you kind of like with your next steps. So I did get to share some of the thoughts about how I do love the community too that has been built within this program. And just like that support is invaluable. And just listening to one of the coaching calls today, I made 2 new connections with some other fellow HR individuals on LinkedIn that I'm like, hey, let's connect. And those will just be connections that I wouldn't have had I not gone through this program. So I would tell anybody 100% yes, jump on board. You won't regret it, and just invest in yourself and it'll pay off. So
That's awesome, Misty. Anything else that you want to add before we sign off?
no, if you can't tell, I really love the program, and love what you have built. I think it is just a fantastic program. So I'm glad that I was able to be a part of it.
Well, thank you so much. Congratulations again. We're excited to keep supporting you, but thanks for spending time with me today. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.